Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. If you enjoyed the video at some point, please click the like button. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, super thanks is down below. Also, you can click that little join button and join the members only section. I just posted 6 articles yesterday, all impactful, and I'm about to post another members only video probably tomorrow morning. You want to watch this video. Trust me on this. Not all the time I say it's going to be a potent one. I think this one is going to be a potent one. Let's get to this article right here. So this is an article on U.Today, and it goes as such. Ripple shovels 100 million XRP to unknown wallet after selling 30 million one day earlier. This is all good. Every time we see something like this happen, it's very good for us. It means things are moving forward, right? And if things are moving forward, that means all of our catalysts are still in line. All of our catalysts are still a go. And we need to know those catalysts to understand why XRP's price can, and I believe, my humble opinion, will skyrocket in the future. I think it's going to go much higher than most people anticipate. I like to reiterate that every once in a while. I think it's going to catch people off guard. Most people are going to sell early. But if you're looking at what they're doing with the system right now, all of this different testing of the system, and make no mistake about it, a lot of that is what's going on right now. They're testing the system. And a lot of the testing is going to go on behind the scenes. There's no need to let people know what's going to happen. Ripple just needs to execute. That's right now. That's a large part of what I'm interested in is execution. It's not so much just the news that's coming out and staying up with the catalyst. That's important also. But we need these companies to be able to deliver on their end. We need Ripple to show us as holders of XRP and stuff, because we could all sell at any time if we wanted to, right? Well, just like XLM, it's like you have to show those investors in that particular protocol, because you are a company, decentralized or not, you are a company that is utilizing that particular protocol, and you liquidate that protocol to fund certain projects, right? So our investing into that protocol is definitely, at this time, is definitely coming in handy for those particular companies. So yeah, you want to show us that you're advancing things and tell us all these good things that are happening with partnerships and deals. That's great. But also what we need to know that you're able to deliver on the product at that time, because your delivery of that product and it functioning properly is what's going to make that price skyrocket. Now that is solid information. Anytime you can get something like that and see that they're testing things, like you've seen Stellar test certain things, you've had banks come out and tell you that they tested Algorand. Algorand didn't even have to tell you themselves. So we've seen banks recently testing Hedera HBAR. They came out themselves also and told everyone that, not HBAR directly, the banks themselves actually put out that information. And now we know that Ripple is constantly putting out information showing that these different things are being tested. I mean, you can just read the white papers of XRP and see how it functions, and then you could put 2 and 2 together and see, like, yes, they're testing on-demand liquidity, they're testing corridors, they're testing XRapid, they're testing XCurrent, all of these different things they have going on. Not only that, keep in mind they have initial offerings, right? Like just for certain financial institutions to test out. So like, for instance, what they were doing with Santander. Now that was just an initial product. They just to test it out, to say, listen, look, test it, see how it works. If you like it, we go from there. A lot of businesses do that. So there's been a lot of testing in those types of areas as well over the years. But now we're getting to the big flipping of the switch, the big implementations of the actual systems. You know, they've been for a few months now testing things, not just XRP and Ripple and their banks and such like that, but a lot of different banks, especially when it comes to something like Hedera. That's one to keep an eye on. Look, all the catalysts are there. You have to know if you're a long holder, and I think I assume most bank coin holders are long holders. You have to know why in the future, since you're making that speculation that is going to go up, why it's going to go up, right? But you had these tests in the digital sandboxes for like Hedera, XRP, and such, right? And they're open with telling you this, right? And I think that's only going to increase digital sandboxes, and those banks that are testing, these particular protocol in digital sandboxes. Those are some of the banks that should be watched, or rather, the protocols that are being utilized by those banks that are testing in digital sandboxes should be watched most closely, because I think they're the ones that can roll out their CBDCs first, right? So this is always good to see this. So now I want to move on a little bit here, because we have some really, really big information. Like I said, man, click that like button. Don't forget, join that the members only section. Now, when you join the members only section, because I want you to get your content, because And actually, if you don't click the like button on that members only content, I don't even know if you see it. Like I said, YouTube has it. They consider it in a beta program state, so it's still a little iffy on all of the different easeability of use, elements to it. So you can see some of the content in your home page, but then you have to scroll over. You have to go to my page. Unfortunately, you have to go to my page and scroll over to that communities tab. Now, if you did join the members only section, when you scroll down, if you go to my page and scroll over to that community section, you're going to see a ton of content I've been posting lately. I've been on fire lately, I believe. And I believe that information is potent, some documents, some videos, some audio books, all to make you a better, not only just a better trader or a better long holder, a better researcher, but to make you, to strengthen you as a person if you need that. Everything is right there. So now let's move on here. I want to jump over to some Algorand news. Now, Algorand has been dominated in every way possible. You've seen them with advertising. They've done more advertising. That's another thing we might cover. Did I have that article here about advertising? Let's just see. Oh, maybe that's one I'll cover in the members only section. But they've been dominating in advertising. Hedera has been doing very good at advertising as well, following sort of, in my humble opinion, in the footsteps of Algorand. They both have billboards in Times Square. Don't ever forget that. That is key. Do you understand how much big money walks in Times Square? You'd be surprised who I've seen walking around in Times Square. So big money is around there. So to have a billboard there and there's all these big businesses there, that's epic. So Algorand already had one. Hedera had one. You've seen they had advertisements at the airports, at the zoos. My goodness, they're doing it everywhere. They have racing teams now. They have drone racing leagues also. To sort of parallel their advertising with the legacy system racing industries like NASCAR and such like that, Formula One. They have all of these different types of things going on. But now we have here, this is an article on beincrypto.com. Now, Algorand is one of my favorite bank coins. I think they're going to explode a little bit higher than most, a little bit faster than most. You've seen their volatility is very good. So yes, it can go down, but with ease, it can go up. A lot of people made a lot of money last year off of Algorand. When we were talking about Algorand at a very, very low price. Well, once again, Algorand is at a very, very low price, and I'm anticipating that it's going to explode, right? But this is in the future, of course, and to understand when it's going to explode, you have to keep up with the catalyst. You have to. Now, this article is titled, FIFA launches NFT collection on Algorand, right? So FIFA is huge. This is huge. And understand that everything that we're seeing now is just the beginning. This is going to expand. That's good. That means more money for us. That means more money flowing into Algorand, more algo on the move, higher transaction value, higher transaction volume. This is logical. That equals more money in the future. Now, we're in a down market, of course. So there's been some volatility, there's been some struggles, but it won't be like that forever. So now you saw the parabolic run we had before. That was pretty tasty, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Now just imagine in the future, we have expanded exponentially. Imagine how much higher that price can go. More people now than ever know about Algorand. Imagine where that price can go in the future, judging where it went before, when almost no one knew about Algorand and it went parabolic anyway. Now more people now than ever know about Algorand. Heck, you even have people writing books about Algorand. So this is great advertisement. So I anticipate that price is going to go a little bit higher than it did last time, in my humble opinion, once the markets rebound and we're back in a solid bull market. But this is my humble opinion. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, okay? But let's read this little tidbit here. And it says, the global governing body for football, FIFA, is launching a non-fungible token platform on Algorand. Now, let me stop there. Now, FIFA is going to be, listen, a lot of other businesses are going to want to follow in the footsteps of FIFA. There's a lot of smaller entities that are going to follow in the footsteps of FIFA, and they're going to think to themselves, well, if this is good enough for FIFA, it's good enough for us. They're the big dogs. They're the big timers. We want to be like them. So in that way, also, I believe this is going to bring a lot more money to Algorand, right? So now let's continue on here. It says FIFA announced that it would launch FIFA Plus Collect later this month on FIFA Plus. And fans will be able to own digital collectibles of great football moments and art. The global football body is partnering with Algorand for the NFTs. The blockchain became FIFA's official blockchain platform in May and will support the FIFA Plus Collect NFT platform. This is huge. This is a huge deal. FIFA is huge. People are going to be collecting a ton of FIFA NFTs. They love it. They're religious with it. I love this. I absolutely love this. And I do attribute this to the Stacey Wharton effect. Look at the team that they've built. All the top bank coins have been building their teams up and making them stronger. Cello has done that. Cello did that last year. They brought in some big players into Cello last year. Then you see Ripple doing it all this year. They're bringing in, for the last 2 years, actually, Ripple been bringing in massive talent. Massively respected individuals from a variety of industries, including the U.S. government. They've been bringing them into Ripple. Not only that they've had other members of Ripple lead and go to work for governmental entities as well. So Ripple has been doing a great job. But you've seen Algorand and even recently putting together a massively powerful team. And they've been doing a great job. We've seen more growth in Algorand this year than ever before. And that results in what when it comes to algo holders? That could possibly, I'm going to say possibly, you don't want to ever give a guarantee, right? Nothing's ever guaranteed, but we're looking at the data and it all says everything can go up. Raise a toe, a little raise a toe in there. But because when you look at an asset, or you look at a company utilizing an asset, if we're talking decentralization, you have to know the team that backs the asset. If they have a weak team, they're not going to go anywhere. If they don't have the proper credentials, the proper intelligence, the proper innovation, the proper motivations, fire in their belly, it's going to go nowhere. We don't have to worry about that in the Bankcoin family, especially not with Algorand. They have a powerhouse over there of a team. And the successes they have been showing this year is a result of that powerhouse team. And that's why it's important to know who is being brought on board, on board to companies. It's also like, let's just straddle over to the stock market. It's also why it's important to vote and make your voice heard. So, and voting in the stock market is a little bit different than voting in the crypto market, of course. But let's say you're in the stock market also. You want to know what kind of executives you're voting on to bring on board. You want to know, you want to make some money. So vote appropriately, make sure you vote. It's in those stocks that you hold. And if you have governance in any of these particular protocol in the crypto market, make sure you vote there as well, right? So now, with all of that being said, sorry about that, stumbling a little bit, I knocked the rust off. I took 2 days off. Now we're going to jump right back in heavy. Let's go on over here to CoinGate.com. They have a very, very good article here, and it's titled, IMF Report. There are 97 CBDCs as of July 2027. So obviously these are CBDCs in development. Obviously they haven't rolled out yet, but it's a title. They can't fit everything in the title, right? Correct? Listen, head over to the members only section. We're going to be covering some things these upcoming days. And I think this next video is going to be very potent. Things that you're going to need to know, why we're going to win and why these digital assets are going to explode. Trust me on this. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says the International Monetary Fund. Oh, and that's another thing. In one of the last videos, didn't I say, in one of the last members only video, didn't I say there was a season of information coming? And now you see an explosion already. I made that video like last week. That was a members only video. Already you see an explosion of information. Let's just touch on a little bit of it right here. This season is going to be very fun. The International Monetary Fund, like several other international financial organizations, is giving the necessary attention to the blockchain industry and the concept of digital assets. The massively increasing adoption rate of digital currencies has underscored the necessity of proper surveillance. It has also exposed the beneficial use cases of blockchain in finance. Central bank digital currencies is one of the ways world's governments are seeking to utilize blockchains. It's also one of the reasons that we're going to see beautiful money in the future, or well, possibly beautiful money in the future. Muy linda, mi gente. It's going to be beautiful money in the future, in my humble opinion. You could disagree with that, and I respect your opinion. The concept has caught the attention of most countries. Now, let me pause there. Do you remember in one of the PDFs that we covered recently? I think we might have done it in the members only section, I believe. But if you remember, there was a particular central bank that was, they were once again voicing their concerns about liquidity. Not only that, but I think everyone sort of read the federal documents from Lael Brainerd, Is it Lael Brainerd, right? I think that was that a Bank of International Settlements document? I think it was, where they're talking about liquidity once again and overcoming liquidity hurdles. They have a problem with liquidity. Who provides liquidity better than us? No one. XRP, liquidity. If you need on-demand liquidity, you can create your own liquidity pools. Algorand, XLM, instant liquidity. Listen, we have the solutions for them, but liquidity is an issue that they've been bringing up as of recent. They still haven't solved it, and they can't, because the actions that they can take, although beneficial in the short term, can be detrimental in the long term. So it's the same thing with what I was talking about earlier this year with the illusion of liquidity. So the federal government and central banks overprinting money. You know, and I understand the technicalities of it. Some people will say, well, the federal government has to reach out to the treasuries, print the money, and then give it to the federal government. But that's what we mean. But nevertheless, these federal entities, these central banks, these governments are printing too much money. So it gives the illusion of liquidity while the debt is continuously going up, and the fiats are being devalued. So it's an illusion. In the long run, you're going to lose. In the long run, you just gave a death blow to your fiat currency, and they have to find a way to patch that hole up. The only way that I see them possibly doing that is by creating the biggest liquidity pool mankind has ever seen. I've said this many times before. That can happen with XRP, an interwoven network of the new financial system, XRP, XLM, Algorand, etc. The bank coins. All right, we can provide the liquidity that they can't without it being detrimental. You understand that? Without it giving a fatal blow to the world economies. In fact, we can save the world economies if, that's of course a big if the governments and the central banks actually operate a little bit better. I'm trying to watch my words here. Do a little bit better than they've done before with monetary policy. That's important. Can't gloss over that. Okay, so now let's continue on here. It says the concept has caught the attention of most countries, with the majority still making research on it. The IMF has recently released an update on the progress of this global CBDC development in various countries. CBDCs, 97 CBDCs under consideration. The IMF recently released a publication dubbed The Ascent of CBDCs. The publication provides insight into the research the organization has done on CBDCs. In light of this, the publication gives an update on the global development of CBDCs in September. The IMF report does note that as of July 2020, almost 100 countries are either in the research or development stage. As of the time of publishing the report, only 2 countries have fully launched their CBDCs, Nigeria and the Bahamas. We know who runs that. The report mentions about 97 CBDCs as of July 2022. Now, hold on a second. I'm going to input a little information here, drop a little information. Hopefully it's helpful to you. But keep in mind, it's not just the CBDCs, but we can act as agnostic bridge currencies to move CBDCs everywhere. So not only can we act as the foundation of a CBDC, I mean, all the bank coins can do this, act as the foundation for a CBDC, setting up CBDC infrastructure, but we can act as a bridge currencies to all other infrastructures. Now, a lot of the commercial banks will need infrastructure in order for them to interact with the CBDC. We're also going to be doing that. So keep that in mind. So all that value will continuously be flowing across some of these bank coins, depending on how many partnerships they can pick up, depending on how many commercial banks they're going to be using. But we know some are into the hundreds. We know XRP, Ripple has hundreds, like over 400 to 500 financial institutions set up, somewhere in that range. Okay, you can do your own research and come up with a more solid number than that. Also, we know Quant has a connection to over 500 large financial institutions via SIA Chain and SIA Partners. Also, we know LAC Chain has brought some banks to the table as well. So we know that. So we have some idea that there will be a myriad of banks, and that if these protocols are used to any capacity, that price is going to skyrocket. So, you know, we keep an eye on the progress of these things, and we adjust accordingly. I think that's just in life. That's just how winners do. Winners adjust accordingly. So, so all of this is a great article here. This is on CoinGate.com. Let's move forward here because I don't want to keep you here too long. We have 2 more articles to get through. The information is pouring out right now. It's about to get very, very fun. It's going to get very, very interesting. So now, as we're coming into the season of information, as I titled it in that video in the members only section, we're going to have to start getting a little bit more serious. There's so much more information for us to digest. Now, let's go here. This article is titled, World Economic Forum encourages DLT and CBDC adoption for banks. And as I said many times before, when the World Economic Forum speaks, the world moves in every possible way. They have presidents that are a part of the World Economic Forum. They have governors, senators, prime ministers. So when they speak, those ears are going to move everything that they can to make these agendas happen. All right. So now let's scroll down here and read this little tidbit here. And it says World Economic Forum published a blog on August 31st titled, What are central bank digital currencies? After the Reserve Bank of Australia revealed plans to launch a CBDC project. We covered that a little bit. I posted an article on this in the members only section. Once again, hit that little join button and get everything a little bit early. As long as I'm on top of it, staying on top of that information, get some potent information. The project will be year-long research in collaboration with the Digital Finance Cooperative Research Center in an attempt to explore the innovative use cases and business models before introducing CBDC in Australia. The blog post describes CBDC as a risk-free form of currency insured by the state, as stated by the European Central Bank, ECB. They further added that all European states will launch their own. Wow. You understand the implications of this? Let me read that little piece. Will launch their own digital euros by mid-20s. We're going to make a lot of money if everything goes according to plan. Algorand is deep in Europe. Stellar is deep in Europe. And do I even need to say Quant and XRP are deep in Europe? My goodness. I hope it continues to go according to plan. Right now, everything looks very good. All the catalysts are still there. Everything's still going well. It's just a matter of time and patience. But yes, if this happens, we're going to move a lot of money. But let's continue on here. Emphasizing the safety CBDC assets deliver while eliminating the risk and volatility of cryptocurrencies, the blog post continues talking about the benefits the asset offers in terms of increasing financial inclusion. WEF believes CBDC, look, there will be compliant cryptocurrencies left even when regulations come down. I do believe like 99% or 98%, probably about 98.5% of crypto will go away. Just looking at how many are just pretty much useless in my humble opinion. Everyone will still be able to make money, but those who are wise and get into compliant cryptos early on will make a ton more money than everyone else that will be late to the game. They will need to keep, I believe they will need to keep some cryptocurrencies that are compliant around just because it's it will act as a balancer. And also never underestimate the fact that they like to use cryptocurrencies as the whipping boys, so to speak, of, the whipping boys of the financial markets and such. Every time something goes wrong, nobody ever looks at the fiat or the banks, which in my humble opinion have not been doing well at all. Like at all. They are the most risky to move your money into, in my humble opinion. But especially going into the future, knowing what BRICS nations are going to be doing, but we'll talk about that in the members only section. However, never underestimate the need to keep a whipping boy around to blame every time something goes wrong. All right, so there's that also. But let's continue on here. It says, in addition, the post highlights the significance of utilizing distributed ledger technology to handle financial crimes. Listen, they want to know it's not necessarily for the regular people. Understand that. It's more internal than anything. These companies don't want their people stealing money from them, right? And there's been a lot of that going on, but it's kept quiet. They want to know where every transaction out of this bank goes, out of this business goes, from the top to the bottom. So no one can ever steal from them again, right? So everything is immutable on these ledgers and they can trace that and track that. So I know the regular people have this like great worry about that, but really it's for it's really for the insiders. It's for the people on the inside, right? They want to know. And they don't want to lose any more money. They want to make exponential amount of money. And so you bring in the DLTs, right? But that's another discussion here. Let's move on to this last article. All right. I think we're doing a good pace today. This one is titled CBDC Guarantees an Efficient Ideal Monetary System, Assures Bank of International Settlement. So as we've been saying all along, new financial system is coming. Those who are in early, those who prepare, could possibly see generational wealth. They're telling you this at this point that is coming. They're screaming it at you. Now, let's scroll down here a little bit. And it goes as such. It says, reports show that central bank digital currencies open scope for a better monetary system. Didn't I tell you before the monetary system with ailing is not doing well? I said this in a myriad of videos that is dying. And so what's happening here, we're sort of Frankensteining them. Well, not Frankensteining, but we're patching them up and giving them a little bit of a strength, giving them a little bit of a steroid shot. And so that the financial system can not only do well, but over time, it can actually thrive, right? And so if those who are wise will be able to get in a bevy of different ways, a myriad of different ways, and make money by both the utilization of that technology, holding of some assets. You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can make money in this new financial system, which is very good. However, most people will not, because most people have already been convinced by the FUD that cryptocurrencies are too risky. You know, the mainstream media has done a good job on turning away a lot of individuals, but those who are in the know, like you very wise people here on this channel, I believe, as long as everything goes according to plan, I believe that a lot of individuals will come by way of generational wealth. I'm not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and doesn't matter to me whether you buy or sell. I'm just a humble researcher sharing a little bit of what I found. That's all. Okay. Let's continue on here. BIS, Bank for International Settlements, pointed out that current cryptocurrencies are restricted in their scope. For now, yes, but if you see the trajectory and how they can expand, if you look at the transactions per second that XLM could do last year versus when they introduced the Starlight Protocol doing over 1 million transactions between two parties, and then you ask yourself, where is this going in the next 5 years? Then the scalability is unbelievable. Not only that, to then add on, you know, the advent of utilization of certain systems that could parallel quantum computing or quantum computing systems outright. Then on top of that, also melding in there, and I believe all these technologies will converge, artificial intelligence, sky's the limit. So yes, this is an argument they use for now, so they can push CBDCs in front of everyone because they're going to need to. The public is going to need a lot of convincing. That's all that this is here. But in the future, no, this statement will not apply, in my humble opinion, as the technology continues to grow exponentially rapidly. But let's continue on here. Restricted in their scope and thereby limited from mainstream adoption. That's questionable also, Bank of International Settlements, but I'm going to let you slide on that one. A lot of your friends are the reason why mainstream adoption has been limited, but you know that already. Because of the bottleneck congestion in DeFi, decentralized finance, and the dependence on volatile aids. In a survey, it's no more volatile than your fiat currencies. Your fiat currencies are always up and down. They're affected rapidly dramatically by political and economic and natural disaster circumstances. We can say the same thing about your fiat currencies. But no one with any real power, large numbers, really speaks on that. Okay, it says, in a survey, it was identified that the congestion in Ethereum switched the DeFi users to other blockchains. Well, that's going to be solved with interoperability in the future. You're talking about legacy crypto, legacy layer 1 crypto. The new age of crypto is completely interoperable, will flow one into the other, and we're not even done yet. We're not done yet. 3 to 5 years, then let's talk. 3 to 5 years. You said it yourself. You said 3 to 5. 3 to 5 years, let's talk. Interoperability is something you can't deny, and why you need CBDCs, and why your partner, the IMF, has had multiple presentations done for them by Ripple. It's why you've also had discussions with Stellar, didn't you? Yes, you did. So you know this, but I understand you have to operate with a certain guise to push the people a certain way. But you're not going to push me a certain way because, yes, I do my research and I understand what is and what is going to be. Let's continue on here. It says, notably, CBDCs are considered to be a development in the digital world to improve existing fiat currencies, which means that fiat currency systems right now are less than. They're not doing well. See how they tell on themselves a little bit? They have to put out a little bit of the truth, because you can't get around it that the current systems are horrible. They've been getting hacked. They've been getting shut down. They're not trusted. Money's getting stolen all across the board. Identities are getting stolen. You can't get around that. The banking system has a lot of holes in it. Listen, don't be in denial. All they have to do is improve. That's it. All they have to do is improve, and you're going to. You've been pushed towards that because you don't have a choice. If you didn't, then over time, crypto would definitely take over. The non-banking financial institutions would take over. They would. They already have been poised to do that. Look how many banks signed up to use Ripple. Quant. There's a reason for that. Look at all the regions that they can reach into that you can't, that banks can't. It's too late. So I stand by everything I've ever said before. They have to adopt the bank coins. They have to adopt DLTs, distributed ledger technologies, blockchain, hash graph, etc. They have to. They don't have a choice. And I love it because it's going to make us, theoretically speaking, if everything goes according to plan, not financial advice, but it's going to make us a ton of money. All right, so let's read this a little bit here. It says IMF Deputy Managing Director Augustin Carstens and Bank of International Settlements executives John Frost and Hyun Song Shin announced that digital technologies promise, listen to that, digital technologies. And there's a lot of different types of digital technologies, but here in particular, I hate when they use this vague term, but they're talking about distributed ledger technologies. Let's be very clear. There's a distinction between legacy system digital technologies like Zelle and doing account based stuff like you know, that's legacy system stuff. Nonsense. That's not the future. They're talking about distributed ledger technologies, the bank coins, or what we bring to the table. A quote, bright future for the monetary system, end quote. Okay, so there's a lot more to this article here, but everything's looking good. We're going to continue forward, staying on top of catalysts. I can't wait for the next bull run. Hopefully it starts soon. We'll see. We have to keep an eye on what's going on in the world right now. A lot of economic things are happening. There's a lot of natural disasters happening also that are going to affect certain markets. We'll see to what degree that actually happens, and we'll keep an eye on that. We have different things going on with currencies around the world. Of course, there's different factors going on. There's so much going on, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.